Welcome to this month's Slates Source Recap. If you're new, stick around and I'll show you how we are building a platform to change the way we create websites of any kind. Let's get right into it. First off, because I want this platform to be perfect, I always notice tiny bugs or small adjustments to be made. So here's a bug fix and small improvement speedrun. We start with the catalog URL. Yes, it used to look like this, it's too long and cumbersome, so now it's shorter. Staying on the catalog, the image's loading speed was too long, so I optimized for speed and also to avoid the image blinking too fast when switching between different states. Another quick design improvement was to make the main categories always fit in your screen, no matter the size. Okay, for phone you still have to scroll, but that's fine. There was a lot of not found images in the catalog because I don't have time or the resources to maintain a catalog with previews for each category, so I introduced sample images for each main category. Moving on, filtered lists have now an updated design to keep the tab contents height consistent. Overview icon 2.0. I also realized if you have too much headers in your overview, this happens. Now this is fixed. The mobile UI has been improved. The Tab Lab UI has been improved. And that's already it. If you notice anything missing, let me know in the comment and we can take a look for the next recap. Now let's get into more interesting topics. So with the new tab data management system we developed, it's relatively easy to build on top of it. So I took a step forward and added a subtle indicator showing the state of the data. This helps to give some feedback to the user that the data is synced properly. And this isn't just a nice feature for showing the state of your data, but it opens the door for offline usage and also live collaboration, which will be a big part of Slate Source in the future. Now, if we're talking about taking a step forward, we also need to acknowledge the steps I took backwards because of some mistakes. And yeah, I'm talking about the homepage, of course. It was way too complicated and tricky to interact with, so I simplified it to showcase two main aspects that I think are important when visiting Slate Source for the first time. On one side, you can discover the categories of Slate Source. This brings you right into the vast catalog of slates that can be found under your area of expertise or any areas that you're interested into. And on the other side, you can find Slate examples of popular use cases, so you can find inspiration on both to hopefully make you want to join the platform and create your own slates. There is also a technical advantage for this redesign, and that's the indexing of slates for search engines. For example, if your slate is new or popular, it will be visible by Google or any other search engine, so when people search for keywords related to your slates, they will find it because it will already be indexed. Now, I also spent some time testing the overview and fixing some bugs here and there, and now it feels pretty natural and easy to use. There are some improvements that I plan to tackle, but to showcase its current state, here's how quick you can create an article now. Now for the new slates. So as I've mentioned before, I redid the homepage. You have on one side the categories and on the other side the use cases. So if we go there, this redirects to a slate where Slate Source can bring value. And so for each use case, you have a small description and a slate. Not all of them have a slate because I didn't have enough time to do all of them. I just did some of them. As you can see, it's only a few, but we will get there. And as time goes on, I will also add new use cases that I can think of. So for the next months, I will try to fill that in with all the slates. Some have missing tabs, for example, conference organizers. We don't have a calendar or feed tab, which would be really useful for that use case. So I can't really create a slate for that. But some of them have all the tabs they need. It's just the slate is missing and that's on me to work on it and create them. So now, for example, we can go into one of the slates I created. If we go into this one, this showcases photography portfolio. So you can have just the overview, the analytics you don't necessarily need, and then you can showcase your pictures. Later on we can have a gallery tab, but right now I'm trying to create use cases with some sort of minimal setup to give you an idea of what it could be in the future. Again, it's also lack of resources and time to do all the tabs needed, but as long as it can give you an idea of what it could be, then you can follow along in the project and support me so that we can make it happen. Now there is another slate I wanted to show you, which showcases my portfolio of all my projects. So let's take a look. There it is. So in this slate, it's showcasing how you can have an entry point for all other projects that you have done. You can have an overview to introduce the people who see your slate for the first time, maybe a contact information, and then you can have a playlist tab where you have all the projects separated per category. So for example, I did a few gaming projects that you can see here, and then if anyone is interested, they can just click on it and they go into the rabbit hole of your projects. And that's it. So if you're interested, you can create your own portfolio and your own projects without any code. Now, speaking of creating slates, I wanted to make an experiment and see if I could hire Fiverr writers to write an article on this platform. That way we can also see if blogging has a place. For example, if we switch to another slate, there it is. We can see that it can be used also as some kind of blogging platform. We have articles of different types, and you can also enhance this kind of blogging experience with different things that your reader could take part of. You have different tasks, and you also have analytics directly in your web page. And that sums it up on what you can do currently, what are the new slates, and let's move on to the next one, the community. To grow our community, I started talking to news websites, and I will try to get our platform out there to make it easier to get to know the project and also get more people involved. I didn't have any feedback yet, but I will keep you updated if anything pops up. Right now, I plan on focusing mainly on YouTube for the marketing side and grow the community from here as a main entry point. And then people who are interested, they can go into other channels where they can get more involved. Also, if you've been following for a bit, you know me that I have a problem creating too many features too soon. So as a way to force myself to not work on features before there is a need for it, I added a bump counter that needs to be reached in order for me to work on it. Currently, I will restrict the tabs to overview, tasks, playlists, links, analytics, and timeline, and those will be the only tabs until there is need for more. So until that bump counter gets up, I will not create any new features. And that concludes this month's recap. If you enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.